Hey, welcome to a fresh new episode of the TD News Show and a happy Friday to everybody. This is my favorite day of the week and for today we have some great news to talk about. So let's start the show. If you haven't seen my last video where I talked about the RX 6800 XT and what the situation, what's happening around with it, you can check any website in any region. In most of the website, every single RX 6800 XT and 6800 are stock out. Now, we cannot 100% blame the situation on AMD. Yes, they knew that that's gonna happen. There's gonna be scalpers, but what they haven't planned is the Nvidia situation. What happened with Nvidia? The similar thing happened to Nvidia, that every single RTX 3080 gone stocked out after probably in 24 hours, and that the same thing happened with the RX 6800. And now some news are coming out that AMD haven't planned to have a lots of stock when they launch their own version of those cards, but from next week when AIB cards will start to roll out, there will be adequate stock for every single gamer out there who want to buy a good GPU regardless of which brand it is coming from. But one thing that I have to talk about, and that is Frank Azor. I don't know what's happening with that man. He is behaving like, I can understand, he is trying to behave and act like a normal person rather than an executive of a multi-billion-dollar company. But the problem is, he is a marketing chief of a multi-billion-dollar company, I mean AMD. So now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, so after the fiasco happened with, no stocks, then Frank Azor came out on Twitter and posted a screenshot that, look at me, I got a RX 6800, I ordered it. But my question is, you are the marketing chief of AMD and you are telling me that you don't have a RTX 6800? Like, what were you thinking before posting that? Like, what are you thinking that how the community going to react? Like, they are going to support you, or they're like, most of the reaction is, okay, now you got a card which should be in the hands of a gamer. You made the situation worse. So that's, I don't know, really, I don't know what Frank Azor is doing, what is going around with his mind, but whatever is, it's just a bad situation, whatever is happening. But hey, don't forget that these GPUs are good. And right now, some people are setting world records with these GPUs. Popular extreme overclocker Alva Jonathan, aka Lucky Noob, has managed to overclock the Radeon RX 6800 XT GPU and set a new world record with the card. Paired with an LN2 cooled Ryzen 950-950X clocked at 5.4 GHz, he has managed to clock the RX 6800 XT at 2.65 GHz. But the most impressive thing about this world record is, this is a air-cooled GPU we are talking about. He haven't used any exotic cooling, neither LN2 or dry ice or anything like that. It was just a air-cooled card. And the next news is also coming from AMD, but this time it is from their CPU side. Two unreleased AMD Ryzen 5000 processors have been spotted on the Geekbench website. Both processors that can be found on the website are allegedly based on Zen 2 silicon. AMD Ryzen 7 5700U is an 8-core and 16-threaded CPU featuring a boost clock up to 4.3 GHz, and AMD Ryzen 5 5500U is an 6-core 12-thread CPU with a boost clock of 4.0 GHz. Now let's talk about Apple. If you don't know, a few months ago, Apple and Epic had a controversy, then it leads to lawsuits banning their app and this and that. So the main story is, Apple wants 30% cut from every single app which are available on their app store. Now Epic came out and said that it is really hurting small business owners, and that is true. So Apple now changed their policy. So from now on, every single app which makes lesser than $1 million, Apple will take only 50% of cut, but any app which is making over $1 million, then they will take 30% of the cut. But the problem is, if you make $1 less than 1 million, then you are earning more money than if you make $1 million. So that's kind of a loophole or situation that Apple has to change or come out and say that this is not the policy or there are some changes. So if they fix that, then probably I can see that it is pretty okay. 15% cut, I think that is pretty viable for everybody. At least they are not taking 30%. But talking about percentage, right now is 100% chance that I'm going to talk about quick news, because this is the time for the quick news. So let's talk about the quick news, shall we? M1 Mac can now run Windows apps and games through crossover 20. Folding iPhone enter testing, possible 2022 release. Intel sells its power management chip business to Mediatek for $85 million. YouTube Premium members can get Stadia Premiere Edition for free. EK new water cooling kit for RX 6800 series. AMD to produce reference design RX 6800 XT and 6800 only until early 2021. MSI announced a Pro MP242 series eye care monitor. Gigabyte launches BRIX S line of mini PCs powered by AMD Ryzen 4000U processors. Among Us developers teased a new map. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the best selling AC game in history. Cyberpunk 2077 official gameplay trailer release. Also Cyberpunk 2077 is a 2-disc game on PS4. Nvidia working on a technology similar to AMD Smart Access Memory. Nvidia GeForce Now streaming comes to iOS Safari. But hey, that was all for today's techie stuff. Now if you want to know more about these news, all the sources have been linked down in the description, so go ahead and check them out. Now let's talk about some of the stuff I like, starting with Wonder Woman 1984. And the news is Wonder Woman 1984 is coming to OTT platform, specifically HBO Max, after Christmas. Wonder Woman was or is this year's biggest movie, because most of the major movies got delayed or they just came out on OTT platform and nobody cared about it. Like prime example is Tenet. Like people were hyped about Tenet. I was super hyped about Tenet, and like after it got released, nobody talked about Tenet. Like it was pretty bad to see a Christopher Nolan movie getting hyped down, or you know, the hype craze gone down. So but it is what it is. This is the current situation of the world right now. And now let's talk about the next news. Deathstroke actor reveals a new look for Snyder Cut Justice League, and boy oh boy, he is looking pretty good. Like honestly, he is looking pretty fine, and I'm also super excited to watch the Snyder Cut of Justice League. Hopefully it is good. It has to be good. I don't want it to be like the original Justice League. Now on to the next news, and that is David Fincher updates on the Mindhunter next season situation. And as per him, it is very hard to do that kind of a series. Like it is very expensive to produce that kind of a series, and in return they are not getting enough viewership, which is the same thing happened with Altered Carbon. It was a very good series. Like the first season was very creative, very good, and Will Ang Lee is a talented actor. Like he performed, like he's great on the Good Doctor series. Like he's one of my favorite part in Good Doctor, but he was a little bit underutilized on Altered Carbon, and then people didn't had the enough interest in Altered Carbon. But I watched Altered Carbon, and I know there are a lot of people who liked Altered Carbon and who want to see more of Altered Carbon's story. And the makers also said that they were planning for possibly 9 or more than 9 seasons of Altered Carbon, but hey, Netflix cancelled it, so it is what it is. Now let's talk about the last news for the day, and that is Dexter found its new director, and he is Marco Sega. And I don't know what to say about him. He is officially, or most of his work is music related. He is like a music director, to be honest, but it doesn't mean he haven't done any movies. Like possibly one of his good movies or worth watching is Ryan Reynolds' Chaos Theory. That was a pretty good movie, and I can see why they chose him. If I think about Chaos Theory, it was comedic, it was dramatic, it has action. And Dexter is the similar kind of a series. It's very weird and good, but I don't know that he is the perfect choice for Dexter. But whatever it is, I think the producers and all the people know what they are doing. But talking about choice, you don't have any more choice to watch this video anymore. That was a pretty bad segue with many grammatical errors. But the main thing is this video is ending. Yes, this is the end of this video. This video is ending. So if you like the video, hit the like button. If you don't, give it a dislike. But just like, I don't want to say it many times, so I'm saying this once and for all. It hurts. Dislike hurts. So please don't do it. Don't do it. But again, it's your life. Do whatever you want to do. If you want to dislike, do it. And if you want to watch more videos from us, check out this video right here. And if you want to subscribe, well, go ahead and do it by here. And this is Akash, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.